Why is it that we give up on our dreams? What are we so scared of? Why is it that in our culture, many of us work jobs that we hate in order to make money to continue doing the jobs that we hate? Why is there so much depression and regret that our conscience holds deep inside? And why is this world viewed as unfair by the vast majority of us? The answer lies in an imbalance in our lives and our lack of knowledge about one of the most powerful entities in existence, our conscience. You can't see it unless you look from the right perspective, but our conscience is real. And when used correctly in unison with our bodies and our minds, we have the ability to accomplish anything. Science has played a major positive role in allowing us to maneuver in the physical world. It has allowed us to technologically create things to increase efficiency, such as cars to get us from place to place faster and phones to communicate with each other faster. It has also allowed us to reach feats in places previously thought unimaginable, and has allowed us to have a deeper understanding of the physical world around us. Note that I emphasize the word physical. The trinity that allows us to function as humans consists of the body, the mind, and the spirit. Although science has allowed us to acquire plenty of knowledge about our brains and our bodies, the one thing science has held us back from understanding is that the physical world is not necessarily all that is real. For centuries, religions have been the main source of explanation for the spirit and for our thoughts, and has been challenged and conflicted by science ever since. What most of the world doesn't understand is that while science and religion may always clash, science and the spirit do not necessarily. In fact, they work hand in hand. Biologist Rupert Sheldrake wrote in a book titled Science Set Free, in which he identifies and challenges the 10 dogmas of modern science that most of the educated world today simply accepts as true. Rather than recite them all, I'll just illuminate the main arguments these dogmas make. That the spirit does not exist, that all of our thoughts and our feelings are just chemical reactions and traces inside our brains, and therefore that the world we perceive around us is really just inside our head. However, both Sheldrake and a man called Jordan Davis, creator of the Spirit Science Informative series, argue that in the world of science, we really don't know much about thoughts. We know we can measure them by hooking up a scanner to measure the frequency emitted when we think them. However, there isn't anywhere in the brain that holds them. Instead of our thoughts being traces of chemical memory in the brain that get wiped out when we die, both scientists point out that rather than create our thoughts in our head, we create them into the external world. Now, this may seem far-fetched at a glance. After all, one does not simply imagine a sandwich in their head and then see one manifest out of thin air right in front of them. However, a sandwich is created by someone first having an idea to make a sandwich, then processing what ingredients will be necessary, then physically going to acquire the ingredients and make the sandwich. Thus, in theory, the sandwich started out with the spirit or consciousness. It went through the mind, and then the body created it into the external world, and we have our trinity. Another important concept to grasp and try to understand is that our consciences as human beings are linked. The way that Jordan Davis describes this phenomenon in the series is to imagine a group of friends talking. Now, in the seventh and eighth dogma, if the seventh and eighth dogmas of science stating that thoughts are inside the brain and forever remain there were true, one could imagine each friend with their own personal thought bubble, filled with whatever they're thinking during the conversation. However, this is not realistic. This would mean that our personal thoughts are unaffected by the thoughts of others. But if you think about it, when someone contributes to a conversation with their own ideas, the conversation begins to progress, and with each other's help, you all dive deeper and deeper into the topic at hand. Therefore, try to envision everybody's personal thought bubbles, as well as one large thought bubble that everyone is contributing to. Imagine that my friends and I are all writing a song. In the back of my head, I'm thinking about the paper I have due in class next week. This is my personal thought bubble. However, at the same time, I am contributing to the song my friends and I are writing with my own ideas. The song is one big thought bubble that each of us are contributing to. You can think of this thought bubble as a collective consciousness. All of our consciousnesses working together to create something and progressing in the progress. Our personal consciousnesses grow throughout our lifetime. But through all of our actions and actions, Over time, each of our consciousnesses contributes to the growing the collective consciousness of the human race, making the previously labeled impossible possible. This is where understanding consciousness and collective consciousness becomes important in each of our lives. If my friends and I really want to write a song, and we talk about doing it, our individual consciences have found a common goal. The next step would be to get together and actually share ideas, joining our consciousnesses and manifesting our goal into the realm of thought, or our minds. Now, our minds can be thought of as a sort of limbo for creation. All of our thoughts, ambitions, ideas, and goals can manifest in our brain. But like David said, there is nowhere in the brain that actually stores ideas. This is extremely important. Our conscious is what decides what happens to those ideas. Does our conscious decide this goal is not worth it, or this idea will never work? If it does, that idea or goal disappears or lingers as long as the conscious lets it. However, if the conscious decides, I will make this goal happen, or I will follow through with this idea, it allows the body to manifest it into the physical world. So, back to the songwriting example. If my friends and I come to agreement that we're wasting our time, that song is never getting written. On the other hand, if we come to the agreement that our idea is worth manifesting, we will write the song. Now, whether we edit the song, practice it, and make an effort to get it recorded is up to how long our consciousnesses hold on to the idea and how much drive our consciousness has to manifest it into the real world. This is why, as a human race, we must make an effort to understand our consciousness and how much power they really have. If the consciousness is dedicated and persistent enough into manifesting its idea into the physical world, it will do so. In conclusion, here's one more thing to think about. Have you ever heard the Wayne Gretzky quote, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take"? Okay. Let's imagine a man with a hockey stick standing in the middle of the rink shooting pucks at the goal. Let's assume that this man's passion is hockey and that he is horrible at it. This man knows that he's probably going to miss the goal if he shoots the puck. If he decides to drop the hockey stick and walk away from the puck forever, he absolutely will never make it in the goal. If he shoots at the goal and then misses, then gives up for good, he will still never make it in the goal. On the other hand, if this man stands there and keeps shooting at the goal, his chances of making it get better and better. He is practicing. It is important to understand that no matter how many times the man shoots at the goal, it's still possible that the puck will never go in. However, every second this man spends taking shots at the goal is a second spent doing what he loves, playing hockey. Even if the puck never goes in, is his time really wasted if it was spent doing what makes him happy? And if you think about it, if you spend his whole life shooting that puck without giving up, it's really pretty unlikely that he'll never make it in, even after a lucky shot. Yes, this is a metaphor for life. If one never gives it up on his or her dreams, the likelihood of those dreams coming true gets greater and greater. This is where understanding the power of consciousness is necessary for us. The mind may determine that a goal is impractical, and the body may find that the resources to reach the goal are nowhere in sight. But if the conscious never gives up on manifesting its dream into reality, it will either find a way to do so, or if somehow it fails, it will go through its life with meaning and fulfillment.